over this way? Yeah, and mahalo to Olelo for being here as well, and you're coming too. Very good. I'm glad you're getting this on tape. I have very important things to share. I am Maile Shimabukuro. I'm State House Representative for District 45, Waianae, Makua, and Makua. I'm a member of the Human Services Committee and former chair of that committee. So I wanted to, I had a handout, and there's two things in this handout that you'll see. The first is a list of legislation that was passed in the 2009 session. So we have recent things that were passed. And then I also included, which I actually think is more important, is the 2008 grandparents bill that we touched on last year, but kind of ran out of time. And so I wanted to bring it again because, you know, if there's one thing that you should commit to your memory, it's this act. And what's good about this act is 12 pages long. Is if you read through it, it also includes basically the child welfare law, you know, sort of the main meat of it, which is Chapter 587 of HRS, Hawaii Revised Statutes. So I think to start off today, I wanted to go through this act. So it's SB 2730 from 2008. It was widely known as the Grandparents Bill. But as I'll explain later, this bill went through a lot of controversy. Many of you were at the legislature testifying. OHA was there, Legal Aid Society was there, many of the parent groups such as yourselves. And if you recall, when it first started out, a lot of the words in here was grandparents, specifically. And what this bill was in response to was, many of you I'm sure know what I'm talking about, is that you as grandparents often would find out that something was happening in the CPS and your grandchild was taken away. And then you as a grandparent are calling CPS and trying to find out what's happening with my grandchild. You know, I want to know. And you get the runaround. And the CPS worker is like, oh, I don't have time for you. I don't know. You don't have any rights. I'm not going to talk to you. You know, or they take a message and you call 20 times. You never hear back, right? And so this bill was brought to the attention of OHA, Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and other advocates saying, hey, you know, we have rights too. You know, we are very upset as grandparents. We're finding out that our grandkids are being taken away by CPS, and they're being, you know, and even though we call and try to get them told, they don't call us back. And then next thing we know, we find out that our grandchild is being placed with a foster family who's not even related to us and being sent away to the mainland or something like that. And it's very upsetting. So this bill was in response to that. So I'm just going to go through it, and the way that bills are written is you'll see that when you're reading through this bill, certain sections are underlined, and then other sections, I'll use other things, are crossed out, other things are bracketed. And pretty much what it means is, the way you translate that is that if it's underlined, it means it's something new that was added by this bill. If it's crossed out, it was deleted by the bill. And then if it's bracketed, statutory, oh yeah, if it's repealed, it's bracketed and stricken out. So if it's going to be deleted, it has a bracket and it's crossed out. If it's new, it's just underlined. If it's neither, that means that was the existing law already in place. So looking at the first page of SB 2730, the first thing that you'll see is there's a chapter, and it says, the second paragraph, relatives foster placement. And I checked the statute, and this has been implemented, so there actually is a number now. I think it was 25.2 or something like that. But this is now in the Hawaii Revised Statutes, it's law. The second paragraph of this bill on the first page says, and I'll read it per word, the department shall provide an application within 15 days of an inquiry from a relative to be a foster placement. If an application to be a foster parent is submitted and denied, the department shall provide the applicant with specific reasons for the denial and an explanation of the procedures for an administrative appeal. So this, I think, was the best part of the whole bill. There was a lot of other good things, but this was really went to the heart of the matter. And basically what it's saying is that if you are a relative, and down below I'm going to explain what relative was expanded to include Hanai. So even if you're not a blood relative, if you're a Hanai relative or a blood relative, and you call the department, meaning the DHS, CPS office, and you say, hey, you know, I heard about my grandchild, my niece, my nephew, my Hanai son, that he's in your custody, I want to apply to be a foster parent. They have to respond within 15 days with an application to be a foster parent. So how many of you in this room have already done the foster parent process? Are you certified to be foster parents? Okay, good. So some of you, maybe half of you know what I'm talking about. But in order for you to gain custody of a child in CPS custody, if you're not the adoptive or natural parent, you have to be certified as a foster parent. And so what this is saying is that within 15 days that you contact DHS or CPS, they got to send you the application. Now, what's important about this is that it's important for you to be able to prove when you contacted them, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to call CPS and you're going to wait for 15 days and say, hey, 15 days went by, I didn't get my application. You know, there's something wrong. And then guess what? This happens to us all the time with legal aid. You're going to call CPS and say, hey, you know, I called you guys 15 days ago and you never responded. You say, you didn't call. When? We don't have any record. We don't have any proof that you called us, right? Because the workers are overwhelmed. You know, they are overwhelmed. Even that much. They don't have time to write down, you know, Ivan called me on July 1 on this time and, you know, certified. So what we advise people to do whenever you're dealing with any department, you know, especially CPS, is document. So when you're going to contact the CPS worker, put it in writing, you know, write to them, put your name, your contact information, go down to the CPS office, I think that's the one in Waianae, right? Go down there or wherever you go and make 2 copies of your letter, you know, and get 1 copy stamped. You can turn it in, hand it in, get it stamped. Now get the other copy, your copy, stamped and signed by whoever you gave it to. So if you give it to this receptionist or the security guard, whoever it is, have that person sign. Say, I received this document from Ivan on July 1st, 2009, 2:00 p.m. And then there's your proof, you know, hopefully that you can show that you did contact. Then the 15 days starts ticking. So then mark your calendar. You don't hear back from the 15 days.